Greetings, Berkshire County, and thank you for joining us this morning on iBerkshire's TV. It's an exciting day today. If nobody is aware of the Thunderbolt Ski Trail in Adams, you certainly are going to be today because we're joined by two members of the Thunderbolt Ski Runners. First of all, the president, Josh Moran, thanks for coming this morning, and also Josh Chittenden.
Thank you.
First of all, tell us, the Thunderbolt Ski Runners, what are they all about? What are they charged with doing? What is the mission of the Ski Runners?
Well, Thunderbolt Ski Runners were started roughly 12 years ago, and the club was formed with the idea of we need to put a race on. And Blair Maher was the mastermind behind wanting to put a Thunderbolt ski race on called the 75th anniversary. So essentially what we did was take the two old club names, Adams Ski Runners and the Thunderbolt Ski Club, and we thought it was very fitting to join those two names. And hence, that's where we came up with Thunderbolt Ski Runners. Since that date, we've done a lot of trail maintenance. We've put on a handful of races. Snow always seems to hinder us.
Snow is a problem. Even in the Berkshires, it's a problem.
And it was a problem back in the 30s and 40s. There were many winters where they'd be praying Old Saint and hoping for snow. But since then, we've come a long way, and we're doing some restructuring within the club and looking forward to the future.
Yeah, we're absolutely going to get to that. And I know if you caught it, you mentioned Blair Maher.
Yeah.
And we could get into the history. We could do a half-hour interview on the history of it, but there is the movie out there, Purple Mountain Majesty. If you're interested in the history, it's fascinating. Go look up Purple Mountain Majesty and you'll find it.
Absolutely.
You recently got a grant. And a great grant from, well, tell us about that. You got a grant, and it has everything to do up there with the Glen and the Thunderbolt.
Yeah, so the grant is for $54,000 from MassWorks, which is through DCR, to build hopefully 3 to 4 miles of new beginner mountain bike trails right in the Glen proper area.
That's unbelievable. And this leads us into Thunderbolt Ski Runners were about the ski trails. But now it's kind of a whole new story. You're taking on a lot more responsibility. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that kind of as our winters have been maybe a little below par, mountain biking has really hit the scene, and essentially the same group that maintained the Thunderbolt has then maintained and created new single-track mountain bike trails in the Glen. How many?
Yeah, so currently we have roughly 8 miles of newly formed mountain bike trails we've been working on for the last 3 to 4 years. I'd like to say Heather Linscott has been a very instrumental part in not only applying for this grant, but also keeping the push for keeping trails. So with 8 miles of new trails and roughly 15 miles of old existing trails, we've really are starting to grow our mountain bike culture here.
And that actually leads to another thing, which is with all the flat space up there that you guys now are taking care of, Nordic skiing has become, it's always been popular up there, but I guess now it's become a lot more popularized, if that's the way to put it. Talk about, you've got new loops, new trails for Nordic skiing, which coincide, of course, with the mountain bike trails, I would assume.
Yeah, so there's the Glen Meadow loop. It's a 1.7 mile loop with virtually only 100 feet of elevation gain. So it's a great spot for families to get out with the kids. Folks who just don't want to travel very far. If you live local, we've seen some local folks from Adams get up and enjoy this 1.7 mile loop. There's also the Mosier Loop, that is a loop that is off of West Mountain Road and continues up to the Cheshire Harbor parking lot, and then continues behind the old Greylock Greenhouse property, and will bring you back down to the Gould parking lot. So,
if we were actually just talking a little bit off camera about the parking up at the Glen, give us the best. If I don't really know what I'm doing and I'm coming in from Connecticut, and I say I've heard about this Glen and I want to go either ski it, a mountain bike, what's the best place to go to find out where to park, how do I plan my day? What's the best place to go?
A couple ways of doing it is, one, you could always stop at Berkshire Outfitters and get a first-hand experience and really tailor your event for what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But when you get up into the Glen, there are a few parking lots, a few areas that can get some overflow and congestion.
Yeah.
There are some signs on the south side of the road that say no parking.
Yeah.
So just don't park in the no parking sign area.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you're more than welcome to park anywhere along the north side of the road on the Gould Road and or Thiel Road. And then from there are some new maps that were recently put up this fall. You can help orient yourself there. You can pick up those maps free of charge also at Berkshire Outfitters.
Great.
So there's definitely some new ways to get around up there.
That's what I'm looking for. I run into people around town and they have questions, and I usually direct them to the Visitor Center in Adams, but also Berkshire Outfitters. You can do that. Everybody, of course, right now we're filming this at the end-ish of January, and this probably will air in another couple of weeks or something. I just want to tell our viewers this, but everybody wants to know the current conditions. Skiers are crazy. They want to get up there, they want to hike, and they want to ski. Tell us about the current conditions up there now. I know we're supposed to get a storm this weekend.
Yeah, I think if we get a storm this weekend of 6 inches, then the Thunderbolt will be open. I'm sure people are skiing it now. It's probably thin.
Yeah.
But the reason why you can ski the Thunderbolt with a base, a minimal base, I guess you say, is last year we put in 274 hours of service to maintain the Thunderbolt and a few other backcountry ski trails that come off the Thunderbolt, which is maintaining the uphill skin track, bellows pipe, and then the Thunderbolt itself. So trees are taken out, water bars are built. If you go and see the Thunderbolt in the fall, it is as if you're standing in a ski resort. It is a very manicured, groomed run. So when the snow comes in with about a foot of snow for a base, I think for the most part it's skiable. So hopefully this Sunday, I'm sure there'll be people up there skiing it for sure.
I'm always surprised the way you guys, not surprised at how well you take care of the trails, but as the years have gone by, you can be downtown in Adams and look up. Whereas I would say maybe even 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, you go, I don't know, there's a trail up there. You can see the trail.
Yeah.
And it looks like a ski trail. And there's a new, talk about the Dragon Tail a little bit.
Yeah, so some folks will think of the Thunderbolt itself, and boy, that's a big mountain. It's 2,000 vertical feet. It could take me 2 hours to get to the top. There's also no need in always going to the top for that new user. They can also go up to what we call the Four Corners, which is the junction of the Thunderbolt and the bellows pipe. And from there, you head just south a few hundred yards, and now you can be on what was the remains of the 1970s ski project, and we have opened up a run there that we call the Dragon Tail, hence the top lift tower, and the remaining lift towers kind of resembled a Dragon Tail. So that whole lower meadow is also brush hogged through the club, and it used to be all goldenrod with an 8-foot pass. It's now a full meadow to come up and ski. So it's not just for these extreme skiers. You can really be a novice now and not feel like you need to go to the summit. You can still have a great time up on the mountain.
And there really is. You can almost see the history. You see all those old piles, and you see there have been so many starts and stops up at the Glen. Another thing we could talk a half hour about, and whether some people want to see a big resort, some people want to see no resort, some people want to let it. They probably think the ski trails are too much. They just want it to be wild and crazy. But it is really one of the premier hiking and biking and skiing places in Berkshire County. Forget about northern Berkshire County and all of Berkshire County. It's a bucket list sort of thing.
Yes.
I would think. If you're a backcountry skier or you're a serious skier, you can go up if you're a novice and you can get the new Dragon Trail and go halfway up. But if you're a backcountry skier, I imagine this would be something where you might be in Colorado and say, oh, yeah, I went to that Thunderbolt in Massachusetts. And they go, oh, yeah, I know that.
That's right.
I think if the snow is good, with the maintenance, the amount of work that is put in throughout the summer and fall, hands down, when the snow is there, the Thunderbolt is the best backcountry ski run in all of New England.
I have, my sister used to live in New York City, and she knew people randomly, and she would bring up, oh, my brother lives in Adams. And they would say, oh, I swear to this was years ago. They'd say, oh, that's where the Thunderbolt is. And I go, I even lived here. I go, yeah, I suppose it is. But even more importantly, you heard about all the hours that you guys put into this. If I'm interested in joining the Thunderbolt Ski Runners, how do I do it? First of all, how do I do it, and what does it entail? Are you obligated to go work on it? Are you obligated to go to every meeting? Some people with crazy life.
Sure. So we do have a website,
Yeah.
thunderboltskirunners.org. You can go on the website and you can become a member. And so a lot of questions are, what do you do with membership money? Where does this go? Well, through the years, we've we've bought in 4 heavy-duty brush cutters, tailing almost to $2,000 for brush cutters, constantly picking up new trail tools.
Yeah.
And from there, we've got a few items that we're looking to purchase, a new brush hog to actually maintain these meadows. And but not only do you just get this material stuff to help maintain, but you also get this community when you join the membership. You're going to be invited to these club-only events, these club different things that not only mountain biking, but ski days that we do. And currently, there's going to be some new things on the horizon for us that I think are going to be very exciting. We are not quite ready to spill the beans about it, but we are working on some new exciting things.
I can't thank both Joshes enough for stopping by this morning in Pittsfield, all the way here in Pittsfield. And if you're interested, thunderboltskirunners.org. And when you're enjoying one of the greatest natural beauties in Berkshire County, thank a ski runner if you happen to see one.
That's right.
Josh and Josh, thank you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Come back and see us again on iBerkshires TV.